And welcome to another Down the Rabbit Hole video. This is actually a video response, and I've repositioned the camera because it's about games in my video game collection, and I've got them laid out here so I'll be able to grab them easily. The question comes from Ben over at TRexSpaceStation. Love his channel. And he just thought he'd pose 5 questions to the community, certain questions about games in your collection, and to tell a little story about each one. And I've got 5 such things right here, so I thought I'm going to post my video response. The 5 questions, well, let's start with the first one, which is name a game that you got for £5. Ben's out of England, so £5 is sort of the number he chose. And he says in his video that would be about $7 US, $7.50. I'm from Canada, but I was just in the US for the Portland Retro Gaming Expo, and I got a game for $8 that I wanted to talk about. And I figure it's only 50 cents off, so yeah, we'll let that one slide, I hope. The game is Resident Evil: The Umbrella Chronicles. I got it for $8. I don't know if you can make it out there or not, but yeah, $8. I remember when this thing was $40, $45 in the store, and not that long ago, just a few years ago. So for $8, I thought, oh yeah, for sure. I wasn't really going to get it. I mean, as much as I like the light gun games that I've gotten, I'm going to do a video about it eventually. I've got House of the Dead Overkill, which kind of ticks the zombie box already, and it's awesome. I mean, it's a great light gun game. This one, I hadn't really intended to buy it. I was like, it's zombies already. But then I discovered something about the game that I'm going to be doing a video about eventually, that I just thought, oh, I didn't know that was in the game. Yeah, I'm buying it now. So $8, totally. What is that unusual thing? Well, I'll just insert a picture here as a hint. Anyway, so Resident Evil: The Umbrella Chronicles, $8, very, very happy. Now, admittedly, it's a very hard game. Like, it's not like House of the Dead Overkill, where you're just sliding around, shooting at stuff, and just having a laugh. It's a little more like Dead Space Extraction. You gotta, like, maintain your inventory, and there's a lot of complexity to it. So I was kind of surprised at what I ended up playing with this. But, yeah, very happy with it, especially for that reason. So that's my game for about £5 there. The next game that Ben was asking about is a game that was recommended to you. Now, I had a hard time thinking about this because I can't think of anything in recent years that any of my friends had recommended. There's a couple of friends who are into the retro scene, but not quite to the same degree I am. Luckily, I did come up with one, and I just posted a video a little while ago about this. I was researching quite a while ago the Nijicon steering wheel controller for the PlayStation 1, and I thought, okay, what are some great racing games? You got Gran Turismo, and you've got Wipeout, and you've got Ridge Racer, and you've got Roll Cage 2, a lot of great games. But the one game that kept making the lists of any websites I went to was this one. Rage Racer. Not Ridge Racer, but Rage Racer. Everybody was talking about this, and I thought, well, I really like Ridge Racer, but isn't this much like Umbrella Chronicles? Haven't I already got a game like this? So I picked it up at the Portland Retro Game Show, and my video talks at length about it. I'm not a huge fan of Rage Racer, so as far as a game that was recommended to me, this one was, and I don't really get what the recommendations are all about. I can't say I'm a big fan of this one, so. But that's my game that was recommended to me. The next game that Ben was asking about is a game that you find really, really challenging. And ironically, this is also kind of a light gun game, but not like you would be thinking. This one uses the Super Nintendo Super Scope, which I am going to do a video about eventually. I like this thing. But yeah, I'll save it for the video. Anyway, a game that I got, well, basically one of the main reasons that I got the Super Scope was because I found out Terminator 2, which is the arcade light gun game, was made for the Super Nintendo. And I just thought, oh, yes! I love Terminator 2 back in the arcade. Absolutely fantastic. And with an actual light gun, this is going to be fantastic. And it is. There's a few points about it I need to talk about and I need to kind of show, but again, for a future video. But I was really surprised how challenging this game is. I mean, the initial couple of levels, sure, and you got the Terminators coming toward you in the wasteland, and you're protecting the people in the front of you, that's fine. But around the time you go into the hideout that the humans are in, and all the kind of Arnold Terminators are all coming from the side, I was finding it really challenging to get through. And then after that is the level where you're protecting the guy on the back of the Jeep from all the incoming fire. I can't get through that. I mean, I have tried lots and lots of times, and you'd think using a super scope, it's going to be not easy, but that's the ideal control scheme. Not easy at all. This is a very hard game. I cannot get past the level with the guy on the Jeep. And I can do it in the arcade machine. Okay, it's been about 20 years since I played the arcade machine, but, you know, I didn't necessarily blow through lots and lots of money to get past that part of the level. I used to play that thing all the time, and I didn't really find it as challenging. This Super Nintendo Super Scope version of T2 is really challenging. So that's my challenging game. The fourth question Ben posed was, what is a game that you wish you had played more of? And this one was a little tricky for me to come up with ideas for, but I looked through my collection, and there was a game that I remember being announced that I thought, okay, yeah, this is one that I don't like where the franchise is going, but in this particular case, I'm on board because I love the subject matter. So I'm going to get this game and I'm going to love it. And then I did, and I played it once, and I haven't gone back, and it's no fault of the game. And that is Guitar Hero Van Halen. I mean, I am a huge 80s big hair band type of guy. I've got the controllers and stuff. I love playing Guitar Hero and Rock Band, and I love Van Halen. In fact, I love their classic stuff, of which there is quite a lot on here. I played it once, and I never went back to it, and I don't see why. I love the songs. Now, a criticism people have of this is that it doesn't really, like, it's a lot of Van Halen songs, but then there's a lot of, like, other stuff on here that isn't Van Halen. Apparently, Eddie Van Halen's son, is it Wolfgang? He was the one who had spoken with Activision and said, well, let's get some of this music in and let's get some of that music in. I guess because these were his favorite bands. That's what I heard in a lot of reviews. People were saying, yeah, Wolfgang Van Halen is sort of the reason the set list isn't all Van Halen tracks, and it's not that great. I like the other tracks that are on here, but, you know, to be able to play Van Halen, and there's even a mode here where you can play the band as they looked in the 80s, like young David Lee Roth jumping and doing his thing. I was like, yeah! But I don't play it. I've never gone back to it. I have played lots of other, I've played Rock Band to death. I've played the Beatles Rock Band. I have played themed Rock Band and Guitar Hero games. And I love this theme. Why have I not gone back to this? I don't know. Anyway, that's the fourth one. The fifth and final question is now, the question is just mentioning or talk about a game that you have finished. And that was tricky for me because I thought, well, do you finish Asteroids or Space Invaders? I mean, not really. They just go on forever. What's a game that ends? Now, there's a lot of modern stuff that I have finished. Assassin's Creed, Grand Theft Auto 5. But I thought, no, Ben's probably leaning toward the more retro thing. So I thought, well, okay, we can't go too retro because you don't really finish Pong. But where do I want to draw the line? And I was going to talk about Atari's Adventure, the 2600, but that's not too hard to finish. So I thought, okay, something that's hard to finish, where it's actually like an accomplishment to have finished the game. So what I've chosen, and unfortunately I don't have the original version of it, but the very first Doom game I finished. And that was quite an achievement. And although I don't have Doom for the PC anymore, I do have it for the Game Boy Advance, so does that count? I mean, I haven't got very far in this. I do find the control scheme is a lot harder than the old keyboard that was back in the day, but I like to have it. Doom is an important game in any collection, so I have Doom for the Game Boy Advance, and I finished Doom on the PC, so I hope that counts. Anyway, yeah, I'll never forget finishing Doom because a friend of mine who had got me the game, he managed to get to that last level where you're out basically in this huge expanse, this big canyon area, and all of these cyber demons and all of these like big boss enemy creatures, there's a whole field of them and you have to take them all on. And he was just like, you're never going to succeed. This is impossible to win. And I didn't know I was getting that far in the game until I walked through this door and boom, there's the canyon and there's all these creatures. And I thought, oh man, this is the part where I'm going to die. So what I did, I'll never forget, I kind of ran, I think it's like a V-shaped canyon and they're all here, but you're up on like a ledge or something. And I thought, well, all this like, all these fireballs and lightning bolts are coming at me. So I just started running in one direction. And I think I ran along the canyon wall and there was like a little corner and I turned around the corner to just like, okay, get your best weapon ready and hope as they come around the corner, each one you can pick them off. And then I heard the sound of the different creatures being attacked, or like the damage sound that they make and them growling, and I realized they're fighting each other. That's kind of interesting. And eventually it stopped. And then I came around the corner again just as the end credits launched. And I'm like, oh, I finished Doom. I didn't really finish it like correctly, but I finished it. So Doom, that is the game that I finished. Anyway, so there's my video response to Ben over at TRexSpaceStation. I'll put a link below to his original video question for everybody. And yeah, hope you enjoyed that. Until next time, we'll see you down the rabbit hole.